Hello and welcome to Springboard of Virtual University. My name is Albert Okran, welcoming you on behalf of Team Springboard led by Comfort. This is your most inspirational show and the point where the greatest minds in the world converge. Your Virtual University is brought to you by the kind courtesy of MTN Pulse, the enterprise group UMB Bank, with support from the graphic business. And of course, this is powered by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and the Multimedia Group. If you have just joined us and have not been around for the past few weeks, make time to check out our series in the engine room on my YouTube page, Albert Okran, and you will find some amazing nuggets from behind the scenes with frontliners in various fields. Today we bring you an exclusive one-off interview called The Legends of Our Time. It's an opportunity for us at Springboard to celebrate someone who has made a significant contribution to our national development in a way that is memorable and in a way that we believe should be immortalized for generations to come. It's our way of saying that while the person is with us, we must demonstrate as a nation that we appreciate what they have done so it becomes a record for posterity. On the 24th of March 1999, a couple in Odumase, Krobo, Benjamin and Eunice Amui, welcomed a set of twin girls into their home. It was a mixture of joy and shock. Joy at the birth of the twins, but also trepidation and shock because the twins were joined together. That fear, that shock turned into joy 56 days later on the 19th of May 1999 when a team of medical personnel did what was considered impossible at the time and unprecedented in Ghana. They successfully separated the twin girls. We are joined today by the surgeon who led the team to conduct that mind-blowing operation 22 years ago. Our guest on Legends of Our Time, Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi. Doc, good to see you.
Thank you.
Just talking about this alone gives me goosebumps. That must have been an incredible experience of your lifetime.
Yes, definitely. What happened was this, that earlier on, all our Siamese children were not existing. In other words, they were not being separated. You see, we lost a lot of these children in the hospital at Kolebu because of the abnormality they had, where they were fused up and so on. It was not possible to separate them. So it has been a problem on our ward for a long time.
Help us to appreciate, for the benefit of those of us who didn't go to medical school with you, yes, help us to appreciate the phenomenon of conjoined twins. How did they get to be joined?
Well, they are joined when the fetus is growing. Right? It divides up automatically. But then at a certain point, it stops separating, and then so that the complete development could not complete itself.
So is it a case of one egg that should have split into to give us twins, yes, and the split was not complete?
It was not complete. Yes, so that is the major theory for this existence, you know.
So when they are joined like that, does it mean they share some body functions?
Yes.
Some organs are shared.
Yeah, they could share any other organ, you see.
So the Siamese twins share, let's say, a liver?
Yes, they share the liver, they share a bit of their heart, part of the heart, right, and then the chest, right. So this makes it a little bit difficult to know how you are going to deal with the children, because you see, the way they are joined, sometimes certain blood vessels will pass through the other one, and to separate these things, you are going to destroy one portion, leaving the other one behind. So unless you have a clear cut to know how to go about it, we never had successful operations. So that
I'm going to come to the pathway. I'm very curious about what you call a clear path. But before we come to that, Doc, let's find out how frequent. I mean, reading around it, the notion we get is that it happens one with every 200,000 bets.
Yes.
Is that the case?
That is true.
It means that it's not very probable that it will happen.
Yes, so that you could see that it's not a common thing. It's not common in the sense that if it has been common, you even know the theology, how it came about. But then it has not been studied well because they are occasional things. So you'll not be able to study one. By the time you finish the next one, there's none again for some years. So nobody has been able to find out exactly how it comes about. So we only know that when the fetus is dividing up, at a certain point, it stops dividing. So by the time the whole thing is completed, right? When I say complete, I mean the fetus has grown up. You find out that still this portion is still joined, you see. So that's the theory we know about it.
Generally, when Siamese twins are born, what happens? Are they left together, or are they always separated?
No, most of them die before they were born, right? So a bigger percentage died before. The other group, they die within 24 hours because they are not developed enough to exist. Their organs and so on are not normal, and they cannot sustain the body. So they die before then. Those who live, who are operated upon, right? Now, if the operation is successful, even there, they don't live long, right? So occasionally you get them living longer like that. Because see, you must remember that in the human body, the anatomy is either clear-cut, you have a head, you have a chest, you have a stomach, and so on. But somewhere along the line, like what has happened at Reed Hospital, the two heads fused together. They are fused together like that, but you don't know inside whether there's something else abnormal. And one other thing you should remember, that in the children, where there's an abnormality, it compounds up to other complications, right, or abnormalities. So in other words, a child may not have only one abnormality, it may have multiple abnormalities. Okay, so those who are born who may have 2-3 abnormalities which could be taken care of, well, there's possibility of, they are living longer. But then those who may have more or 4 abnormalities, you cannot correct all the abnormalities.
Well, you can have as many as 4 or 5?
Yes, you can have.
Really?
Yes. Yes, that is why the Siamese children, before you think about separating them or whatever, you have to observe them to see whether they are going to make it at all, right? For instance, if the children have the liver fused together, you have to see whether are they developing jaundice somewhere, or is that particular, vessel or whatever it is it moving straight to a point, a direction where if you separate it, they will exist. Because by the time you separate, you see that, it's somewhere else. And you cannot separate some of them, because when you're going to separate, you're going to destroy more. For that matter, you leave them. Yeah, that is why it's difficult to separate the Siamese.
But those who, when you leave them, do they still have a chance of survival?
No. So far as the anatomy is distorted, well, they die on their own. That's why I said that some people die the first 24 hours. Others become stillborn. Stillborn in the sense that they are dead in the womb before they are born. You see, so that's how it is. Those who are able to can survive the 24 hours, maybe if you look at the anatomy where you can do something for them. Other than that, they die because the anatomy does not sustain the body.
Where did the name Siamese twins come from?
The name is coming from, what do you call it? It came from the Asia. At first, they were not called Siamese. They came from, it just escaped me the name. But then, where they were born, they came from in the town called Siam, right? So that they gave the name Siam to them. So
that's like the first notable case of that kind of.
That is it. That's why the first one they were born in Siam. So they got the name to them to become.
So we all
Siam.
borrowed the name.
Yes.
Doc, you describe a situation that is very risky. Yes. I mean, you say the abnormalities could be 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And you can't correct all of them.
Yes.
So going into a surgery like that, you know it's a very high risk situation.
Yes.
Let me settle on the Amuis because that's the reason why we're celebrating you today.
Yes.
How did you hear about their story?
Yes, you see, first of all, you must know that Siamese, the moment it feels like that, there's a big risk. You don't know whether you can separate them or not. You see them together, but inside there, you don't know what is moving on, whether the heart, you don't see it, whether the heart is also fused together, or whether there's one of the vessels that go into the heart, let's say it has enlarged or it has become narrow somewhere. So you don't know whether you'll be able to separate them, because if you don't separate them, but they are abnormal, this one is huge, this one is very tiny, and so on. You can never put them together. So that's why it's a big risk even to attempt to separate them at all. For that reason, you have to have time to observe them. You observe them for quite a longer period, you see, and then every day.
So let me go to 99, sorry.
Yes.
You were in Kolebu?
Yes.
How did you hear about this case?
Okay, I did pediatric surgery, and fortunately or unfortunately, I was the only pediatric doctor on the pediatric ward. The others have gone to Saudi Arabia. The other colleague has been on long leave. So I was there, so that anything which comes to the ward becomes my challenge. Right? Not necessarily whether it's a Chinese or not, but then I was the only pediatrician. I had, younger ones who were still studying, but I was in charge of the ward.
You were the big man there.
So I was there when the children were brought.
So they were born in Atua, at the Dumasi Club.
Yeah, they were at Atua.
Yes.
Atua Hospital. Yes. So no, they couldn't. They were not born spontaneous. They had cesarean section.
Yes.
Because at that stage, you could not force their way out.
Normal
so they had cesarean section. Okay. So they were brought to Kolebu while I was in charge of the ward. So it was a challenge to me, because the people have been brought to you. You cannot let them die. You see, and in medicine, you are supposed to save life.
So, Doc, you're in Kolebu, you are the pediatric surgeon.
Yes.
Then they bring these conjoined twins. Were you shocked?
Yes. Well, not in shock as such. They were very tiny.
Were you shocked?
Say it again.
Were you shocked?
Whether I was shocked?
When you saw them, were you shocked?
No. If I go into shock, then the children will die. No, the doctor should not be afraid of him. I will never be afraid of a patient, because I'm supposed to cure the the patient. That's why the patient came to me.
But had you done anything like that before?
No. Okay, other cases were involved in some cases, but they never existed. They all died. So if it comes in, so to me it's a challenge because I'm the pediatrician who was on the ward. There's nobody else. So if you don't do it, who was going to do it?
Were the parents traumatized?
Well, the parents, to be frank with you, I never saw them really. They were brought in and they were admitted. By the time I realized they have been admitted by the nurses and so on into the emergency ward, so that I don't have much to do with the parents.
Okay.
I have to concentrate on the children.
What about your team around you, the young doctors who were looking up to you? How did they feel?
Well, I'm sure they felt, I mean, it was something which was abnormal. They would be wondering whether I could do it or not, but they could never show it, you see. But then we go around and we say we should do that, we should do that. So everybody will have to obey what I say, because I have to give instructions, and then when you go around, there are certain things I could look for. Then, apart from that, the doctors on my ward who were still students in their postgraduate course, well, they also have questions to ask about it, and I have to explain to them, you see. But the most interesting thing is this, that it's a challenge to me, right, whether I will be able to take care of them. Everybody is now looking at you, and nobody else is there to do it or has the courage to come in. So what will you do? You have to go ahead. And one other thing you have to remember, as a doctor, you should be frightened.
But I'm scared, even though they said you were successful. Even now that you talk to me about what happened 22 years ago, it's quite scary for me, the pictures and everything, Doc.
Yes.
Just help us to travel this journey with you.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier on that you need to observe for a while before you
Yes,
make a decision about whether to operate or not.
Yes, yes.
How long were they in the ward approximately before you made the decision that you would go in and do it?
I think they were there, was it about 4 weeks, right? While I was understudying, because you see, I know my parameters of if you die tomorrow, I would not know. But if you're going to die now, I have things which will tell me that you are not all right. You will not make it. The same way as the children were, admitted, they were incubators because they were too small to live on their own. So you had to be in incubators. You feed them, you give them fluids, then you watch their reaction as they lie down. Are they laughing also like other children, or are they turning their head to the side, whether like other newborn children? If they are not, then there's something wrong. So you observe all these things to see whether is there going to be life in these children. So that gives you the courage to go further, do the other investigations, scientific investigations, laboratory, all those things. So when you do all this, your parameters tell you that these children, they are capable of existing. Then you go again further. What is the next stage? The next stage is preparing what you are going to do, you see.
So give me an idea about, so the 4-week period, you observed improvement as you went along and you began to get hope that this will work.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about the day you made the final decision that I'll do this. How did it happen?
Yes, okay. The final decision is I look at my examination, the chemical examination, the blood, enough blood, and then I don't need to transfuse any blood. They are moving all right. Their legs are moving all right. So I know that I don't have anything to do with the legs. So where I'm going to concentrate on where they were fused.
So where were they fused? This particular set of twins, where were they fused?
Yeah, on the abdomen, for the lower portion of the abdomen, up to the upper portion of the chest.
And which organs were involved?
where what is one of the umbilicals, that the cord.
The umbilical
also
cord.
fused up. From there, then you have the liver together, and then from there, get to the top, upper portion of the chest.
And the chest.
They also
all
fused
joined
over
together.
there. And then where they were fused over there, you could see that that's where the heart also starts to go to the chest.
Whoa.
So that one was a little bit
Tricky.
trickish, not trickish, but not easier, because I am not a cardiac surgeon. You see, because one thing you must know is that in medicine, one person may not succeed to take. That's why we move in a group. We have a team. You see, so when I got onto the upper part of the abdomen, getting to the lower part of the chest, I could see that to separate them, I may temper with something going to the chest. Because as I said earlier on, in such abnormalities, you don't know what is inside. You can see that they have fused together. But if you put your knife here or whatever, you open it, you find that, there's a blood vessel which is showing its face from one other direction. So what am I going to do? So if I am not a cardiac surgeon, I may have a little bit of difficulty in hesitating how to tackle it. So what I had to do for those children those days was to get in the cardiac surgeon,
Okay.
Dr. Cerebral.
Oh, you remember the names as well?
Oh, yes.
Tell me some of the people on the team. It would be nice to know.
Yes.
So Dr. Cerebral was a cardiac surgeon?
Yes, Cerebral, he just assisted to give an idea how to be able to separate the two, hearts together. They were together, but then there's a way of separating it.
Okay.
They were not fused as such. They were fused just partly.
Okay.
But then, so far as you have a cardiac surgeon there, he has more ideas than you, the other person. So I had to call him in.
Okay.
So that together we were able to go.
Who else was on the team?
We had Clerk Lamptey, while he was there, and then we have Windfred Mensah. So we were four, apart from the nurses and the anesthetists. So the very interesting thing about the anesthetists is that they have to put two babies at the same time asleep. Okay. So one of the anesthetists will be taking care of the one of the babies, while the other one taking care of the second one. So although there's a bed for this Siamese children, but then two anesthetists are working simultaneously.
Let me greet my friend, Dr. Nanada Zigansa, who's an anesthesiologist listening all the way from Kentucky in the U.S. I know this is an interview of great interest to you, and I salute you for what you do to make surgeries possible. So,
yes.
So you mentioned Dr. Clegg Lamptey, Dr. Windfred Mensah?
Yes.
You mentioned Cerebral.
Yes.
And these people were all around you.
Yes, yes. But in fact, apart from that, there are so many people in the theater. Everybody was, let's say, fascinated. And then, very interesting thing, everybody was watching what's happening, right? And one other thing I found very interesting was that at the time I was able to separate the liver, there was such a huge noise in the theater. Normal theater is quiet, but as if you were at the football park. People were shouting for joy.
Massive celebration.
Yes.
Hold it there. Let's springboard your virtual university. We get to the celebratory part of this medical version of your virtual university. Legends of our time, celebrating the effort, the leadership, the contribution to national development of Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi, the first Ghanaian to separate conjoined twins. And it happened 22 years ago in the life of the Amuis. And it's just a beautiful story of how together with the team that surrounded him, they did what was considered impossible at the time. We'll go for a brief break and say a big thank you to our partners, MTN Pulse, the Enterprise Group, UMB Bank. When we come back, let's find out that 4.5-hour operation, including the stadium-like celebration, the details of how it went, and then trace back to Peki Avetile, how a teacher's son could end up becoming a history maker. Please don't go away.
Don't be left out. Download the Pulse app from the App Store or Play Store to mash up all day, every day. You can also enjoy more mashup. Just buy the new Mega Bundle and get 3 gigabytes data, extra 400 megabytes for your social apps, and free MTN to MTN calls every Monday. So go ahead, feel the Pulse on MTN Pulse. Just be. We're good together. Everywhere you go.
There once was a man who had it all. He had skill, he had charisma. He was loved by all, but above all, he knew the importance of helping others, lifting others up. He knew the importance of giving other people an advantage so that they too would use that advantage to help others. All you need is that advantage that sets you apart from the rest. And when you discover that advantage, life's challenges don't seem so daunting anymore. That's where we come in. Enterprise, your advantage.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we are poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
My name is Gwenchima Adu, CEO of the Hair Center. If you're looking at improving yourselves, then I'm inviting you to join the Springboard Engine Room Virtual University and you will be transformed.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, our special edition called The Legends of Our Time, celebrating the life and the work of Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi, the first Ghanaian to separate with a team, to separate two conjoined twins, and it happened on the 19th of May 1999. And 22 years later, we sit to talk about that achievement and the fact that these two lovely ladies are living a normal life, enjoying their life, thankful to God every day. And anytime they pray, Doc, anytime they pray to God, it's a blessing on you because your obedience made it possible for them to be alive today. You must feel very special.
Well, you are saying I'm special, but I don't feel myself to feel very special. All I know is that I have to do something. I have to let the children come alive, isn't it? And as a doctor, my aim is to save life and not to destroy it.
Let's talk about the saving of the life. So let's go back into that surgery. Was it in the morning? Was it in the afternoon? Was it in the evening? What time of day was it?
The surgery? Well, the surgery was in the morning. Normally, such a case, you start in the morning because you don't know how long it's going to take you. So you don't start in the evening, you start in the morning, maybe from 8 o'clock, latest by 9 you started, hoping that before it's lunchtime, before you start feeling hungry, you might have finished with it, yes. So
did you know beforehand that it would take you 4.5 hours?
No. It is difficult to say that because of the the abnormalities involved. You see, that is why when you are going, you have to go slowly. You don't have to rush. You see, you don't have to rush. So that every step you take is very important. Otherwise, you make a mistake somewhere. You take something else which you shouldn't have removed, or you might have cut it. Or when we say cut, it's brutal to say to cut, right? But we have different terms in medicine, right? So you go gently and slice it gradually until you get to the end.
So it's almost as if as you go, then you see new things.
Yes.
You uncover.
See, as you are going on, your mind is telling you what is the next thing you should do. You must remember your anatomy. So you see the anatomy, it is like this. You don't go the other direction, go this way. If you go this other way, you're going to destroy something there. So your mind must be working fast as you were working at the same time. You cannot just put a scalpel. You have so many other instruments you could use. At a certain point, the nurse gives you that a certain instrument you use. No, this one you don't want. You want another instrument. Because if I use this other instrument, I may go into trouble. But I have to use
very
other
alert.
instruments.
You need to be very alert.
Yes.
What else do you need?
Well, we scalpel, but then one interesting thing about this particular case, the liver, I cannot just put a knife through it. No, because you're going to destroy a lot of things. So there is a different way of separating that one. So fortunately, in Africa, let's say in Ghana, you make use with what you have. You are somewhere in the States or you are Britain or whatever it is, they may have more instruments than you have. So in Africa, you make use of what you have, because if it is somewhere in Britain, before you start, you don't have certain instrument. They can order the instrument for you. But here in Ghana, it will take another 6 months, 1 year before it comes. So you have to make do with what you have.
Let me follow the sequence. Which organ did you tackle first?
Oh, you start from the front. That is the abdomen. First of all, you must open it up to see what you are finding. Okay. So I take care of the skin. From there, go down. Then you can see the organs, everything correctly. So when you open it up, open like that, you can inspect all the organs and see whether the anatomy is normal or not.
Which of the organs, in your opinion, was the most complicated?
I wouldn't say most complicated. They are all complicated.
Tricky, scary, frightening.
Yes, because if it's a normal body, I'm going to operate on him. Let's say he has something that's on the stomach. I know how to tackle it. But in this one, the whole body could have abnormalities. So I cannot predict before unless I move forward gradually, and then we can see that this is most, let's say, challenging. Just like I got to where I called Dr. Cerebral to come and help where the cardiac region was there, because I'm not a cardiac surgeon, and he's a cardiac surgeon. He had a different eye from me. He sees it differently and I see it differently. So when he comes in there, then he could tell you, okay, let's go this way, do this way. So when the difficult portion is over, then I can release him, then I continue.
So it's like a shift.
Yes, so that's how it is.
Let me ask you, why was there a big celebration when the liver was separated?
Yes, that is the interesting portion. You see, everybody was expecting something to occur. When we started the operation, the theater was very quiet. You can, if something falls on you get. But then, I'm sure everybody's expecting something. Okay, so those who are closer, they were observing what's happening and seeing what is happening. So the excitement came on when the main liver was separated, because people, the way it is, you didn't know where to tackle, right? But then, if you're able to tackle it and you have separated it, it's the biggest joy you can have. And not the joy for the spectators, but for me, myself, it's the biggest joy to
So
be
there was a
able
huge
to
shout and everybody was celebrating.
I wouldn't shout.
But they shouted.
The whole room, it was as if it was at a stadium where they are playing football, you have scored a goal. That excitement, yes. So the only thing I can remember is that, well, like some satisfaction. I got some satisfaction that I'll be able to say, because the little mistake, you may cause the death of the children, you see. So going and you're able to do that, it's a big joy for you, the surgeon yourself. You know, we surgeons too, although we are hard, when you do something good, you yourself, you feel happy. You feel happy.
Let's push on. So you finished the surgery in 4.5 hours, and then what happened?
Well, you go and relax.
That day you went to relax?
Oh, yes. So the moment, you see, what is that no surgeon will lift his patient on the operating table and go away. You must finish. Where you open, you close it up to make sure it becomes complete.
Right.
So no surgeon starts operation, middle of it, and then leaves it behind. No, then you're a bad surgeon.
So you close it up?
So you must make sure the patient comes away from the operating table. That's the most important thing. If your patient cannot come away from the operating table, then something's happening, right? So you must make sure that when you are operating, you must make sure you're finished up. And finishing it up means the patient is being carried away from the operating table. If it's still there, then you have not finished.
So when the patients were carried back into the incubator?
Yeah, they'll be taken to the what do you call it, recovery ward.
Okay.
Right? Or from there are stages they go, because the anesthesist has to make sure you get enough oxygen, this and that. So we have procedures which we follow until it goes to recovery ward, before it goes to the ward. Then when it goes to the ward, then you know that you are really finished. But then that is even not the end yet, because you can go to the ward, but for the next 2 minutes later, you may collapse and die again.
So when did you get assurance in your heart that this one, you are fine?
Okay, first of all, the first assurance that is come from the operation table.
Right.
Gone
to the recovery.
The recovery ward.
Okay.
Then from there, when you go back to the ward, then you are extra sure that you have finished. And when you get there, there are other parameters to look out for, whether there's a bleeding here or whatever, are they breathing all right, or so on. All those things are still on you, right?
Did they pour powder on your head? Tell me, how was your personal celebration like?
My own?
I mean, after the successful operation, did they pour powder on your head? Did they carry you? How did you feel?
Oh, no. You mean the patients?
I mean, the patients, the staff, the people in the ward.
Oh, yeah.
That was history made. What happened?
Well, from there, everybody goes back to his way.
Just like that?
Yes. I mean, okay, there are discussions around little pockets of people discussing that, oh, this is all right. But I will not hear it anyway, because when I finish my operation, I also go to sit somewhere, relax, you see.
So that night when you slept, how did you feel?
It's what?
That night when you slept, how did you feel? I'm very curious.
Well, I can still not remember that one, but the only thing that some satisfaction. That's the satisfaction. Then you keep on finding out whether they are alive or they are having complications. We phone the ward even the night. Therefore, if I ask a surgeon, even when I'm at home and I'm asleep and you call me, I know already what's happening there because I focus my mind looking, because I might have been expecting some other thing which may occur. So you ask the nurse, what about this? What about that? What about that? Then you say, okay, then you go at this here, oh, I'm coming over. So that the doctor, the nurse, I'll put this way, sleep like a log. No. The moment you call him, he knows already what's happening, because the moment you are awake, you know how you left it and what you'll be expecting to see certain things. So you just focus your mind on it. You know what's happening already.
Fast track to 2021. You recently met the two young ladies, aged 22. How did you feel?
Actually, that's the first time I've seen them. See, when the children were born, when I finished the operation, well, they were not feeling very fine, so I gave it to the pediatrician. But then when they were discharged, I didn't know. So for 22 years, I never saw them until I saw them after 22 years.
How did you feel?
First of all, you yourself, I mean, there's some joy in you. There was something I asked for. There was, I know there's a scar somewhere, which was some sort of problem where that scar came, because I had to use my scalpel to incise a certain portion. So that created a little bit of a sore, and that will heal with a scar. So the first thing I asked the children or their father, is the scar still there? They said, yes. Okay. That's okay. The day I'll see them completely, I will explain to them how the scar came there.
Wow.
Because I still know why.
What exactly caused it?
Yeah, I know why the scar was, that scar was created. You see, I still remember exactly how the scar, that place became a scar. So the day I'll see them again, I'll explain to them how they got that scar.
Doc, yeah, I'm sure they're watching you with a smile on their faces, saying...
Well, it's possible.
Saying, oh, they are watching. Everybody watches the virtual university all across the country and across the world as we celebrate you today. This is your special day. Yeah. Does it feel sometimes like 19th May is another birthday?
Yes, it is, because it is a joy that you see them after 22 years, you see. And then, as somebody said, if you had not separated them, they might have gone off, right? So far as they are alive, that is also my joy that they are alive, you see. And I'm sure they themselves, from them, what they said, it is that they are very happy to live, because otherwise it would not be existing now.
I want to thank the team at GBC for celebrating you not too long ago on that very special show. My friend Kafuide and the team for putting that show together. That was a beautiful celebration. And anyone who has ever written about your work, celebrated it over the years, Vansazu, anyone who has done any work, literary work or media work to celebrate your efforts, we salute all of them, because that's what it should be about, celebrating achievement. But Doc, take us back to 81 years ago. I mean, you are 82 now.
Yes,
yes. Let's go back to your beginnings. A teacher, a catechist son in Peki.
Yes.
Did you ever think you'd become a medical doctor?
No, actually, I was. My father, he was a catechist. We come from Peki, and that's where I was born. But then I didn't go to school at Peki. By that time, my parents were transferred to Adan. So I started school at Adan. You see, at the age of 5, I went to I was interested in going to school. So I was, as a catechist, teacher, headmaster. Well, you like to follow your father, so I went to school. I started school a bit earlier, right? And then from Akuse, from Adan, then my father was transferred to Akuse. So I got to at Akuse. Then after, when I was in those days, Standard 1, then my sister, who finished Wesley College, was made a teacher, was transferred to Somanya. So I went to stay with her at Somanya. So it was Somanya when, after the common entrance, I was able to get to Mfansipim, so that I continued as Mfansipim until I left to go and do medicine, right?
So you read medicine in Germany?
Yes. Actually, even it was not my first choice to do medicine. I did mathematics. I was going to do engineering or going to do physics later on. But then, curiosity, I wanted to also travel outside to study outside. And fortunately for me, there were a lot of scholarships at our time. So I applied to do telecommunication engineering. I also applied to do the interview for the medicine because I was qualified for it. Although I didn't do zoology or botany, I did physics, chemistry, and so on. But then I was called for the interview. And that interesting portion of that is the interview for medicine was called earlier. So I went there. And then after the interview, we went home. 2 weeks later, I was called for another interview for telecommunication engineering. So I went there again. Then the same panel was interviewing us. So when the man saw me, he said, "What do you want? You just came here." I said, "Yes, I came for interview." Said, "What do you want again?" I said, "Well, I don't know whether I've passed or not." He said, "Go out, go out."
Oh!
So I went out, and then just after a few days, I got the result that I had been given scholarship for medicine.
Do you know the name of the man who has to go out?
Fine.
Do you know the name of the man who has to go out?
Oh, I can. There were about 4 or 5 people those days.
Whoever that man is, we thank him. So one panelist on the scholarship team said, "Go out," because he knew he had gotten the medicine.
Well, anyway, I was happy, although I didn't plan to do medicine, but I just wanted to have a scholarship, you see. I started to go and look at my biology books and so on to look at, because those days you had about some 6 months before you go away. So I started reading more about zoology and so on, because I didn't do zoology and so on.
Then you went to Dortmund?
Yes. It's right.
So you went to Dortmund in Germany?
Yes, so then I went to Germany. I studied in the University of
Heidelberg first, okay.
Heidelberg, and then after the basic medicine, after the what they call it, housemanship, I decided to do surgery. Now, this is an interesting thing because I had a sister who was then one of the nurses at the hospital, from Howell Hospital, then to Accra. And she said, surgeons are very important. They are very brilliant people, and they do well. So if you can do surgery, that will be fine. So, okay. I kept it in my mind. So when I finished medicine, I said I was going to do surgery. So that's how.
So we thank the man in the scholarship team who sacked you from the engineering one. Then we thank your sister who told you to do surgery.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
She told me. Before then, when I was at Mfansipim, I wanted to do theology. I was interested in in the scriptures. I was going to do theology. At advancement those days, if you want to do theology, they must do some Greek. So I started first term to learn Greek. Then, when I went on holidays, then my sister, who I stayed with before I went to Common Chance, he said, "Oh, why did you choose Greek in your subject?" Because I wanted to do Greek, Latin, and something. I want to go and do theology. Then he said, "The Greek you are doing, it's a dead language. Why do you want to do that?" So I said, "Okay." So I was a bit sad anyway. But then when I went back to school, as the first term in Form 4, I have a good friend there called Jerry Coleman. Jerry Coleman was very good in mathematics. He was a good friend. So I went to Jerry. I saw Jerry. "Jerry, I don't want to do Latin and Greek again, so I'm going to do mathematics." So Jerry, you and I will start learning mathematics. So I started learning mathematics.
And that was in Form 4?
Yes, Form 4.
1 year to your O-level?
Yes. That is you choose your subjects before. So in Form 4, then because of my good friend Jerry Coleman, unfortunately he's not alive now, I would have shaken his hands because he made me be interested in the mathematics.
So we thank Jerry Coleman. We celebrate his memory as well for
yes.
giving you your foundations in math.
Yes, so I did mathematics, and I did mathematics, further mathematics, chemistry, and so on for the sixth form, and then I went for the interview. I did my postgraduate course. After my postgraduate course in surgery, pediatric surgery, I applied to the University of Ghana. At that time, there was the University of Ghana. I'm sure they still have. They have an office in London. So I applied that I finished my course. I went to join the medical school in Kolebu. So the registrar at that time was London. He came to Germany, to Düsseldorf, to interview me. Yes, so from there I got my appointment letter straight away from Kolebu, from the medical school, to join the medical school. So when I from Germany, I came straight to Kolebu, where I became part of the Department of Surgery. So luckily, I was given transport. They came to take me from the airport. That time, medical school, they were very active. They sent the driver and to take my luggage and the family straight away to the bungalow at Kolebu. So I came straight from Germany, straight to Kolebu.
When you look back at your entire career, having retired now, would you say that particular surgery was one of the momentous days of your entire career?
Well, yes. You see, what do I say? I would say that it was just a challenge to me. So it was a challenge to me, you see, because other cases were not existing. I mean, because they perished, right? So when this one came on, it was a challenge to me.
And they made it.
Yes.
So the people of Peki published this book, Peki, the historical game changer, the role of the EP Church, and your story is captured as one of the stories in this book.
Yes.
Whenever you're celebrated like that, how do you feel?
You know, the story about this book, I didn't know that this book was existing. You know, I have a clinic in Tesano, Hobart's clinic.
Yes, I've seen it.
Then I was sitting over there when the writer, Mr. Safo, came to the clinic one day.
Nice
Said,
bound hard case book.
yes. Yes. You know, he came and said, they are writing this book. They would like to add mind to it because it was something which was strange to them. If they put it in the book, maybe more people will be interested to read this book because this is for Picky. Okay, but I come from Picky too, so okay. As one of the people from Picky, so I will let's say, bring up the name of Picky. So that's okay. So then I asked, how did you know I operated on these children? He said, a friend of his told him about my operation. So at first, I was not very, I was reluctant really. Because I don't know, I didn't want to make myself unnecessarily popular. My character is such that I like to stay quiet in my.
As I say, along with
profile.
Lilo.
Yes. Yeah, because you see, if I wanted to, publicize this one, then I should have done it when the children were born. But 22 years, I didn't expose anything. So when Mr. Safo came, he said he wants to put my profile into this book and to talk a little bit about the Siamese. And I said, I don't like popularity. He said, no, but this one is special, so we'll put it there. So you will see in the book, in the profile, mine was the last one. So he came to me, and I didn't know him. I said, okay. He came back again, okay, I'll give it to you. So I gave him my script and so on, and how he was able to.
I think it's a great publication. I really want to salute the team that put that book together.
Yes.
Almost 500 pages,
Yes.
well bound,
Yes.
quality print,
Yes.
and I think a document for posterity. I support the effort at documenting achievements because
Yes.
if not, it will be done by oral tradition and some of the details will be lost. Today we found out how you felt. I didn't ask you what you ate after the surgery, but let me ask you now, what did you eat after the surgery? Do you know what you ate? Do you remember what you ate?
Well, I can't remember again.
So if you had documented everything, we would know that maybe you ate some fertility and some apple.
Yes, you're right. No, I can't remember again. It's so many years ago.
Right. But you know what? We remember what you've told us today because you've shared these wonderful nuggets with us. And I want to say a big thank you to you, if I may say so, on behalf of the nation, the continent, and all the people of Ghana for the outstanding effort you did in leading your team to do that wonderful surgery so many years ago. And here at Springboard, we love celebrating people. And so, on the occasion of this interview, on behalf of the team at Springboard, here is a beautiful glass plaque celebrating a legend, Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi, the first surgeon in Ghana to lead a team to successfully separate Siamese twins in 1999, presented by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in October.
This is very surprising to me.
2021.
You know, I've never met you before.
Sir, we've been following your story for quite a while, and on behalf of Team Springboard and the people of Ghana, we celebrate you by presenting this wonderful plaque to you. We want to say that we are proud of your achievements. We thank you for what you have done. This is yours.
Oh, this is lovely. I'm very surprised because this is my first time of coming over here. Don't not know you've done some homework long ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let's end the show on the note of appreciation. Hold your plaque up for the world to see and for everyone to see on TV. And for those on radio, I'm just describing myself standing next to Dr. Hodasi and he holding his plaque with a smile on his face. And what we are just saying as a people is that we want to celebrate you while we have the blessing of having you here with us. We want to thank your wife, thank your family, thank our friend Jerry, who is your son,
Yes.
and for introducing...
Proud of him.
Yes, we are proud of him as well here at Springboard. He's a good friend of ours. And just thank you for what you have done for country and for what you represent. Anytime you see this plaque in your house, in your home, smile and know that Ghana celebrates its heroes. So on that very beautiful note, we want to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Hodasi, for coming on the show today. I hope that this has been a nice occasion for you.
Wonderful. It has been very wonderful. The fact is, I didn't expect so much appreciation, but I don't know what to say. Lots of words.
Say something to the people of Ghana who are looking at you on TV today.
Well, I'm very happy, first of all, that I was able to do such an operation. The fact is, when we were having the interview the other day, the commentator was asking whether I'm a Christian. I am a Christian, and with the help of God, I was able to operate on these children, and I'm very happy that I've been invited and given this plaque, and I will always remember what you've done for me.
Thank you, sir. So on behalf of Team Springboard, led by Comfort, we want to say our congratulations to a legend of our time, Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi. We also would like to thank our partners on this broadcast, MTN Pulse, the UMB Bank, the Enterprise Group that is always at the forefront of the wonderful things that we do, and then especially celebrate the multimedia group for creating the platforms. And on Tuesday in the graphic business, please read the full transcript of this interview with Dr. Windfred Mensah Hodasi. Let us immortalize his memory and celebrate the gallant achievement of a man from Peki Abetile who believed that the twins could live. And today, 22 years later, we have two wonderful young ladies living a full life because you believed. Thank you, sir, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
And so on behalf of Team Springboard, my name is Albert Okran saying God bless you, and God bless you.